Hey guys, I'm John and this is Woodshop Junkies. With my fiance and I getting married at the end of the month, the last couple of weeks have been crazy, so I haven't really had the time to do any planning or material sourcing for my next shop upgrade. So instead, for today's video, I'm just going to have a bit of fun in the shop and make myself a set of mobile game triggers. Like many other people, when I find myself with a bit of time to kill, I often end up playing games on my mobile phone. But the kind of games I enjoy playing are better experienced when the operator has the use of the L1R1 trigger fingers as opposed to only the two thumbs. Now, mobile game triggers can be purchased, they're generally not that expensive, but I've had some bad experience with triggers breaking and also just generally not working very well. So I figured I could make my own, cheaper and probably even better. But before I get into it, I want to send a massive thank you to Dreamware Technology for sponsoring this video. Dreamwaretech.co.za is a local online tech store that stocks some really cool products. So if you want to know what they're all about or see what kind of products they have, you will find their link in the description of this video. Right, so the controller I designed is going to exist almost exclusively out of 6mm or 1/4 inch pine plywood. All the components are going to be cut from this. Power tools wise, I don't really need much. I'm going to use my cordless drill and my scroll saw. But if I didn't have a scroll saw, one of these and a bit more patience would produce the same results. To make things easier on myself, I designed my controller or my triggers using 3D modeling software. This allowed me to produce a 2D template, which I can now simply stick over the plywood like this, and using the scroll saw, cut out all the components. To stick the template to the plywood, I used craft spray-on adhesive. Right, so these are all the components that I'm going to assemble to form my controller, which exists out of 3 main parts: the base, the clamp and the triggers. So to get started, I'm going to assemble the base first. Now the base is going to be the main body of the controller. The phone will fit into it and the triggers and clamp will attach onto it as well. The templates were a bit stubborn to remove, so I used a bit of paint thinners. Okay, so this is the base. It's 3 layers thick and it's mostly glued together except for this middle part where I added screws because I think glue alone won't be strong enough. The phone will now fit in the middle there, and you've got these 2 handles here to make it a bit more comfortable. The triggers are going to be at the back, and then at the bottom here the clamp is going to be, and it's going to be responsible for preventing the phone from moving around while you are playing. So while the glue is setting on this, I am going to assemble the clamp. Okay, so this is the clamp. As you can see, nothing amazing. It's 5 layers and it will fit onto the base like this. It will be spring loaded, so it will apply force or pressure to the phone, and that's what's going to prevent the phone from moving around while you are playing. So while the glue is setting on this, I can jump on the triggers. Okay, so on the triggers, as you can see, there are quite a few holes which are pivot points or fixing points for the triggers, and before I remove the paper or the tape, I'm going to drill those holes first. As I mentioned earlier, I want my triggers located at the back here. I think it's going to be a bit more comfortable than having them at the top edge of the phone like they are on most of these DIY type controllers or triggers. The trick, however, is being able to conduct from my finger via the trigger to the screen, or else it's not going to work. So I'm quickly going to show you guys how I hope to achieve this. Okay, so this is the, I guess we could call it the trigger pusher, because this is what's going to be pushing on the screen when the phone is inserted into the controller. The actual trigger will be mounted at the bottom like that, and this is what you're going to pull to get that motion. Now, to make it conductive, the most logical option would have been to make the triggers out of a conductive material. Unfortunately, that's not an option for me, so I'm going to line the edge of the triggers with a thin layer of foil. Now I'm going to glue the foil strips along the edges of the triggers using super glue. I added soft pads to the pusher tips in an effort to make the contact on the screen less aggressive. Okay, so the foil is obviously overlapping here on the edges of the triggers, so I'm going to use a file just to clean that off. So that's all the components, and after a quick sand down, I'm going to be ready to assemble and test. So as you can see now, I'm using 2 tension springs to apply pressure to the clamp, and that's going to keep the phone in place. So next step is adding the triggers. So the final step now is to add springs over here as well to pull the trigger back to its starting position. And that's my mobile game controller. The mechanism seems to be working. I'm going to see in a moment when I put my phone in how it performs with the phone. But you know, it's not the most elegant solution. It's not the most elegant controller, but it's simple and it doesn't require a lot of power tools. So I think for that reason it's a cool project for beginners or people just starting out. So I'm going to start up the game and see if the controller actually works. Okay, so this controller is built for a 5.8-inch phone, but the template can easily be scaled for a larger or even smaller phone. The clamp is to keep it in place. As you can see, the left scope, right shoots. So the controller seems to work just fine. I also made a slightly larger one that can accommodate a 6.5-inch screen. Now I do still have a few things that I would like to improve or better, like looking at an alternative to the foil and maybe adding cushions underneath the pushers. If you guys have any input or anything you would like to add on that, I would love to hear from you. And if you would like to support the channel, I will be adding the cutting list or template for this controller to my website. If it's not up by the time the video goes up, it should be up in a few days. For the guys waiting on the plans for the lumber rack, those will be going up very soon as well. And that is it for this video. It's a bit of a stray from my normal type of projects, but like I said, I was just having a bit of fun today. I will be back to my normal projects very soon, but for now, thank you so much for watching. Till next time, cheers.